Welcome back to my channel. How do we give your orchid a radical care to revive it and make it bloom again? Support it with homemade natural fertilizer and make it as lively as if it were newly purchased. Let's watch it together. Thinking that it is almost dead, this orchid is trying to put out a flower branch with its last bit of energy to set seed. I assume we should first take care of the roots and replace the soil for this orchid, which is only being nourished by its leaves and aerial roots. The flower spike that bloomed in the previous season is still green. Only the tips where it bloomed have dried up. We're emptying the orchid soil into a container and completely removing the soil around the roots. I need to check the old soil before I can reuse it. However, from what I've observed here, there are pests roaming around in the tree bark. That's why I'm going to throw this soil away and use new soil. Since we use tree bark instead of soil for orchids, these organisms can harm the root structure. When you see these, you need to take immediate action. When it comes to pruning, pay attention to the roots. We can see that most of them are rotten and dried up. There's nothing to be afraid of. Just cut and separate the ones that are not green. I recommend that you carefully watch which ones I cut and which ones I leave. These black ones are all the rotten roots. This is the healthy root. It's clear by the color, green. I'm cutting and separating the part of the root that has turned black. This part is not beneficial for us. It's harmful. This root is about to rot. I'm taking one. Root pruning is done. Now I'm cutting the dry branches on the flower stem that bloomed in the previous season. Since the flower stem is still green, there's no need to prune it from the tip. This branch can give K2. If it starts to dry from the top, count 3 from the bottom. We'll sprinkle cinnamon powder on the place where we pruned above the node. After the pruning process, we can see that there are almost no roots left at the bottom of the orchid. There are only these two. I'm going to bring some of the air roots inside the pot to absorb water, put the rest inside the pot, prepare the orchid soil by removing wood pieces. I'm going to leave 1 or 2 of them close to the leaf side outside, and put the rest inside the pot. Pour the new orchid soil into a container and remove any unnecessary wood pieces from it. If you have a pine tree around you, you can collect the fallen bark and use it as orchid soil. Fill the bottom of the transparent orchid pot with a handful of orchid soil. As I mentioned earlier, place some of the air roots inside the pot. Just a little. Place it carefully. Because the air roots are dry, they are fragile. Hold the orchid upright with your hand and start filling it with orchid soil. After adding some soil, tap the sides of the pot to help the soil settle properly. You can do this process with the pot. Repeat until completely filled with soil. We can use the roots that are outside, like these, as an emergency for orchids with rotten roots. These gray roots will transfer the nutrients. that our orchid needs from the water in the pot to the stem. This is another one of our orchids. Let's quickly prune the roots of this one and start giving it liquid nutrients. Here, we have a strong root structure. Let's clean the others except for these. If we don't clean the dry ones, they will rot over time inside the pot and start to harm our orchid. Plants don't just perform photosynthesis with their leaves. They also perform photosynthesis with their roots. Especially, the orchid roots need to see light so that they can easily perform photosynthesis. Just like we did with the previous orchid, we're cutting off this blackened part as well. We need to achieve a clean root structure. We put some soil at the bottom of the transparent pot and place the roots without breaking them. Now let's move on to our homemade nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium fertilizer. We're making this fertilizer with onion skins. We'll put the ingredients in a pot filled with water and bring it to a boil. Nitrogen will support stem and root development. Phosphorus will support blooming, and potassium will help the flowers stay on the stem longer. We're enriching our fertilizer with potassium thanks to the fresh banana peels. We boil these for about 8-10 minutes. After it boils, turn off the stove and wait for it to cool down. Strain the cooled syrup through a sieve and let it rest for about 12 hours so that the minerals inside become more effective. You can store this mixture in the refrigerator for up to 6 months. When it comes to usage, add 10 cups of water to 1 cup of syrup. Our liquid fertilizer is ready. Dip the orchids in this fertilizer for about 10 minutes. While the orchid soil and roots are absorbing water, make sure to wipe the leaves with clean water and a tissue, especially the undersides of the leaves, so that the pores can open. Remember, orchids feed on the moisture in the air through their leaves and aerial roots, and they also absorb minerals from the water you provide through the roots in the pot. We've reached the end of the video. Share this video so everyone can see it and leave a comment below. At least something simple like a thank you or a suggestion. Write your feedback. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, you can subscribe for free to support me. If you want to be the first to know about new videos, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and activate the bell. See you in my next videos.